We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Uncle Hack Podcast. We are live with you. Let's just get into the dates. A couple more dates added to the stand-up tour. Oh, that is wonderful, isn't it? A lot of people are very excited over the fact that we're touring the country again. August 7th, next week, I am in Leduc, Alberta. Then August 10th, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. August 15th, 16th, co-headlining with Nick McQuick at Yuck Yucks in Edmonton, Alberta. September 5th in Tofield, Alberta, we are doing a fundraiser to bring back the senior AA team that I once played for. Alumni status. Better act somebody. October 3rd in Fernie, BC. October 4th in Castlegar. October 10th, just added Cambridge, Ontario. October 11th in Toronto, October 17th, Berwyn, Alberta, October 18th, Grand Prairie, Alberta, October 24th, 25 in Niagara Falls, Ontario, November 23rd, just added in Dallas, Texas, and November 29th in Fort Worth, Texas, going back. I'm going back to Texas, and December 5th in Red Deer, Alberta. Tickets available at dangercatshop.com and all merch needs. If you would like to support the show, please head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69. I am working on getting more and more episodes and cool shit down there in the background. I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm having a bit of a summer. I'm kicking my feet up. We're trying to relax around here. A lot's going on. But anyways, patreon.com/dangercat69. Great way to support the social media nonsense that we get up to and all the gong show surrounding it. And by we, I mean me, the Uncle Hack Podcast. Yada, yada, yada. Back to reality. Anyways, I've been having a lovely week when and seeing the young up-and-coming performer Cameron Whitcomb live. What a lovely young man that fella is. Got to see him perform live. And you know what? Good Canadian kid. You know, here's the thing, is I really enjoy watching young Canadian fellas grab a hold of something and run with it. And I don't care how big you get, how small you get. It's just enjoyable to see like art get created. And hats off to him. You know, he's really doing it, and it's really cool to witness it and watch this young fella kind of grab a hold of something and took things into his own hands, and now he's selling out big venues all across North America, actually the world, doing a world tour. What am I doing? 80-seat venues. You better act somebody. You know, I can't be doing these big ones. It's too many people, you know, that's way too many people. I get anxiety or social anxiety. Is that what the kids are saying these days? I don't know. Whatever they're making up, and I get ADHD. All of a sudden, there's too many people in here. How am I going to entertain all these people? I'm more of an 80-seat kind of guy, you know? I'm an 80 to a 120. That's perfect amount. Anything bigger than that, we're in trouble, okay? Time to knock it off. But congratulations to him and all of his success. It's cool to see. I really like witnessing these young bucks get after it. And it's in any field, you know. I like seeing when young dudes are fucking killing it. I like that. I like seeing my fellow countrymen grab a hold of something. And I don't care what it is, you know. It's fun to watch. It's fun to witness it and see these successes happen and pitfalls and how you recover from it and all that. And I like risk takers. I like people that gamble on themselves, not like these comics in Canada that are standing in line like it's a bread line to fucking CBC. Can I be on your show? Not those guys, not Canadian comics. You know, they are queers. A lot of them are queers for pay. And maybe we do a deep dive in that. A lot of guys out there pretending to be gay just to get a TV deal in this country. Isn't that wild? Well, you pretended to be gay? Be like Norm Macdonald. What do you want to be gay? Yeah, who would want to be gay? You know, it's truly And you know what? Do what you got to do to have a career. But I might have to say something. And I see you out there, all of you guys, pretending to be a little bit weird. I'm watching. I got eyeballs on you. And when the tide turns, I'm going to be there. And you're not going to like it. It's very unfortunate for you. And I feel bad for you. Slightly. There are things happening. There's a shift. And I hate talking about this political shift, this mood, this swing that happens. The pendulum always goes the other way. And I was probably one of those guys in past episodes that was going off about that. Pendulum's got to go the other way. But it swings too hard, doesn't it? And it shocks us. And I like that. I like that people are like being shocked. That's what I enjoy. Because in the room to be a bit of a shithead, it's almost like a war zone. When you're in a war zone, the rules don't apply until after. And then then you start getting hit with war crimes, where in the fog of war, you can get away with a lot of things, You see the media cycles of what they're running on. They say that certain things are happening while the war is taking place, a lot of trafficking of humans. You hear how long are we into this episode? Not long enough to get demonetized. So I got to speak like TikTok kids, grape, a lot of SA. That's how they're speaking now, isn't it? It's like this fucking Norwellian speak now. I got SA'd. That kind of, why are you making sexual assault funnier? I got SA'd. SA'd. What the? Now you got to explain what the hell you're talking about. SA'd? I'm over here playing Wordle. I'm playing Wordle to figure out a sex crime now. What is going on out there? Just say the word. It almost seems worse. It almost seems like you're humorizing the victims now at this point, which I'm all for. Okay, I'm all for it. But my God, can we relax a little bit? I'm trying to run a talk show here, and I got to play word search to figure out what the hell you're talking about. You listen to that, what's that, whatever podcast, and they're always like, essay. They're talking like, just say the fucking word, you queer. All right, we're demonetized. We're going in anyways. But yeah, you gotta speak a certain way. I don't even know where I was going with the riff. Sometimes the riff gets away with you. You just ride the rapids and you go wherever the riff takes you. And now we're sitting here talking about how words are now being changed. It's a grim reality that we live in, and like I'm saying, oh, that's right. Like I was saying, is in the fog of war, as the pendulum swings, you can get away with a lot of things. You can make t-shirts, and we all know what happens when you make a t-shirt, especially around this show. You make a t-shirt, things can really shift. The perception of oneself can shift in a very drastic manner. And I know some folks that don't really like t-shirts, but we like t-shirts on this show. We enjoy t-shirts. I really enjoy it. I love t-shirts. Some say I'm just a small town kid really into blue jeans in t-shirts, white t-shirts. Nope. But another t-shirt has made national news here, and we're going to get into that. That'll be our first order of business. Let's let that run through. But that seems to be what a lot of folks are deeming inappropriate now, is t-shirts and what they print on them. And I say we need to outlaw that. We do not need any more people, especially for me. It's like now you're getting into my territory, okay? You need to back off, okay? You're trying to mow my grass? Is that what you're doing? You're trying to mow my grass in my own backyard. Unbelievable. The gall of some of these people that want to fire up a t-shirt company is beyond me. It deeply upsets me is what it does. And we're here to talk about it, okay? We are here to talk about it on this show And we head on over to CTV. What does the headline say on this one? Hate is hate. Concerns raised over a t-shirt design spoofing Tim Hortons logo while taking aim at newcomers. Oh my God. An online retailer is being called out for peddling an offensive t-shirt design. Ooh, we don't like that. You know, if there's anything, if I'm going to take a stand today, we need to stop. You know, we need to stop with the t-shirts. Okay. Some of you people seem to find it rather amusing when somebody prints something deeply offensive on a t-shirt, and then you got to cut it out. You got to grow up. Okay. You got to knock it off. Who the hell do you think you are? Walking around, you got to all willy-nilly with some goddamn t-shirt on. You think you're cool because you do that? You're not, okay? You're not. You're not cool. Printing offensive things on a t-shirt is a very juvenile way to get a cheap laugh. And all of you need to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the person I want to be? Do you want to be that individual? Huh? Ask yourself that before we get into this. I am with CTV on this, and this guy needs to be locked up, thrown in jail, and tortured for the rest of his life for doing something like this, putting this on a t-shirt. What is he doing? Is he out of his mind? You got to be a disgusting human being to wake up in the morning and think to yourself that putting something offensive on a t-shirt is a good idea. You should be ashamed of yourself, Alberta Unchained. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm taking a stance on the Uncle Hack podcast. And I say that we drag out everybody doing screen printing in Alberta and we execute them in public. That's the stance I'm willing to take today. Because we don't need this, okay? We don't need this right now. We need unity. We need people coming together. We need people not wearing something that might upset someone that can't even read English. Are you out of your mind? Grow up. And let's head on over to one of my favorite news broadcasting corporations, CTV. Shirt hoodie design called out for having racist undertones. A design on a t-shirt, on shirts and hoodies sold online mocking Tim Hortons. Oh my God, this is I'm going to be upset watching this. I'm going to be upset watching this. I want you all to know that even just reading the headline, I'm fired up. I'm upset. I might go out and I'm going to make a sign and I'm going to stand on the edge of a sidewalk in a very busy intersection to make my point today. I might do that. I might go to the goddamn Dollar Mart. I'm going to get a Sharpie, a thick Sharpie, so that way you can read the words that I spelt. And I've got a big message and I'm probably going to run out of room and have to make the letter smaller as I get to the end of my sentence so I could fit it all in. Okay? Because I got things to say. And unfortunately, when your car window's up and you're listening to your FM radio, you aren't listening to me. So I'll make a sign to make my point, okay? I might even get a flag. I don't know which one, but I might get one. There's a lot of flags out there. And I'm going to grab one and I'm going to stand on the street corner to make my point. Because that's the most effective way to get people to listen. And today, and you know what? Don't push me, okay? Don't push me on this podcast because I might go in and I might cause a ruckus inside of screen printing outlets across the city, okay? I might go in there and I might cause a ruckus. I might glue my hands to the floor in protest against screen printers. And that's what I got to say. Anyways, let's listen to one of my favorite news organizations, CTV, and see what they have to say about it. Why aren't you playing any audio? Oh my God. See, this is the problem we have in this country.
By an online apparel company. A design on shirts and hoodies sold by an online apparel company mocking Tim Hortons is being called
Disgusting.
out for its racist undertones.
Oh my God.
The company says it's meant to be satire.
Yeah.
Some concerned citizens say this isn't humor.
It is
something
not.
more
No,
vile.
she's right. This isn't humor. Now, when I want to know what's funny, I ask this woman. I call her up and I say, hey, Shirley, I'm having a bit of an issue here. Okay? I'm having a bit of a tough time figuring out whether or not I should laugh at this. And I call her up and I say, hey, somebody made a t-shirt. And she goes, whoa. You better pump the brakes, amigo. Listen here, bro, Chacho. You think putting racist undertones on a t-shirt is funny? You're the problem. And I say, you know what, Shirley? You're goddamn right I am. And I am sorry. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I should have known this. And I call her up and I know you're an expert in humor. If there is somebody who has a PhD in giggling, I say, Shirley, you better know whether or not this is funny. And she tells me exactly what I need to know when it comes to having a laugh. I fucking, if I didn't have a friendship like that with her, I would be really messed up, you know? I'd be really messed up. You imagine every weekend I got to go up there and have a little giggle with everybody. All these little thoughts that I have in my head that I write down to try and make audiences laugh. And I'm over here, I'm out in the weeds, you know, no machete. I'm out in the weeds trying to figure out what's funny. And I go, hey, Shirley, you know what's funny about this right here? And she goes, there's nothing funny about that right there. And take that shirt off. And I say, thank you for letting me learn a lesson today in the great art of comedy. And without you, I wouldn't have a career.
Stephanie Thomas reports.
Stephanie.
You have a nice day.
The cafes are iconic in Canada.
You're damn
now
right
the
they
name
are.
Tim Hortons has been swapped out on the design of this t-shirt sold by an online company called Alberta Unchained. It says Sing Hortons, using a common South Asian name.
Oh, that is
The line
disgusting.
below reads, now hiring immigrants.
Are you kidding me? They put two puns on one shirt? That's got to be a criminal offense. I hope to God Alberta Unchained is watching this right now, and I hope you know that this is disgusting, what you're doing. This is outrageous. This is outlandish. 2 puns on one shirt? Are you out of your mind? What are you trying to do here? You trying to make a joke out of a serious issue in this country? You trying to make a joke about Tim Hortons basically using slave labor? Huh? Is that what you're trying to do? You think that's funny? Do you think it's funny that the federal government subsidizes 70% of the wages of temporary foreign workers, which is now causing youth to not get jobs? You know, these part-time jobs that would help them out maybe with purchasing a vehicle or help them out with, you know, buying little trinkets. Is that what you think this is? Do you think that's funny? You're disgusting. Onward. Oh.
The as Sing Hortons, using
Oh.
a common South Asian
I'm getting
name.
upset.
The line below reads, now hiring immigrants.
Oh my God.
Hate is hate, and
You're-
it's in many different forms.
The apparel company refused an interview with CTV News and did not answer questions about who is behind the company, where they are based, or how many items with this design have been sold. Instead, it sent this statement saying, to clarify, the Sing Hortons design is a piece of satire. It is not racially motivated, nor is it intended to target any community. The executive director of Stop Hate AB says humor can be a cop-out.
You're damn right it can be. You know how many people are using humor as a cop out? You know, when it's deeply seated homophobia inside of them, and then they go and they call their friend gay when in reality they just might be gay. So it's like, it is a tough world out there, and these guys over here thinking it's a little unbelievable. I can't believe that. I can't believe that guys like this exist. It disgusts me, quite honestly.
Be called out for being hateful.
To collectively stand against hate is us actually doing an action towards ending it. Ignoring it gives it space.
Tim.
Yeah. You know, exactly. Exactly. Nina, you couldn't be more correct. You know, I agree with you. Because if it didn't exist, Stop Hate AB wouldn't exist. And I don't know what that means. Stop Hate Aryan Brotherhood? Is that what that is? Is that what she's up to? So, somebody research this. I need a producer on this show because my mind is going. Stop Hate AB? So you're telling me the Aryan Brotherhood is now turning coat and they're trying to clean up the hatred? Holy hell, this is really something else. You know, I thought to myself, this couldn't be true as I'm watching this woman speak to me about spaces, in particularly comedy clubs. Don't you know that's the breeding ground of a lot of this stuff? Comedy clubs. They need to be shut down. Some of these people need to go in there and start smashing all the things inside the comedy. Oh, God, no wonder I can't get booked anywhere in this goddamn country. You know, I sit here and I say the things that I say, and then I say them out loud. And to me, it's, you know, we're over here having a big discussion about what is right and what is wrong to joke about. And then I have a self-realization moment right then and there that, my God, you know, it's no wonder they won't book me at those clubs because I want to get them shut down like the rest of the country because I can't fathom knowing that those spaces are breeding hate. So every time I walk into a comedy club, you want to know what I do? I cut the mic cord before I even speak. Before anybody speaks, I cut that fucking cord and I say, you know what? Take your hatefulness and I hope to God you play in traffic. You disgusting. Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. Everything that you're saying up there is a racial undertone and I hope to God that this place gets shut down. God, that felt good to get off my chest. You know, this past little while when I'm thinking to myself like, oh God, why, you know, all this time that I've spent trying to get into these comedy clubs and I'm turning over a new leaf. I'm part of Stop Hate AB. I gotta bring the cloak down. I gotta go behind the curtain. I gotta reveal myself a little bit for you. It's been a sham this whole time. And I feel bad for you as a listener because I got to come out here and I got to air this all, right? I got to air this all. Everybody now you know. Now you know. I've been working for the other side this whole time. And it's very tough for me to come out and say this. You know what? Let's get a full screen going here so that way you can see the sincerity in my voice while I say this. I've been working for the Canadian Anti-Hate Network to produce more hate and, allow them to go out and, write these articles and they have a justification for then these lunatics, my colleagues. I forgive you. You know, they are they're a little bit out there, you know, and one of my favorite tactics is I like to hide some of their SSRIs. I like to sprinkle them in the park like it's an Easter egg hunt. And then I tell them, you know what? If you go harass any Yuck Yucks location, any comedy club location, any local comedy club, any pub that does stand-up comedy, I'll tell you where I hid the pills. I'll do that. I know they're your pills and you know what, they are yours. You should be taking them, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you double. If you go cause a nuisance at a local comedy club, any house of comedy, comic strip, fucking, Yuck Yucks, fucking the Absolute Audios, the fucking Laugh Lounge in Ottawa, you go out to the Comedy Under fucking bar or whatever the hell it's called, the Underdog here in Edmonton. You go to one of these places, you cause a nuisance. I will give you a pirate ship or a pirate map to all the SSRIs in the park that I've thrown around like bird feed. I'll do it. And it's tough for me to sit here before you today and admit this, that I've been working for the other side this whole time. It's very hard for me. You know, I feel like I've deceived my audience for the past 7 years as I've built up this brand into being very obnoxious. It's, very loud. It's in your face. You know, a lot of people agree with that. And, you know, there's a lot of is and icks attached to that. And I've spent my time carefully curating the content to, you know, absorb this type of audience that would celebrate this behavior. And now I have to pull the mask off. It's been me this whole time. I've had to sacrifice my own reputation because of this. I've had to sacrifice friends, family, lovers. Lovers. You know, I am so dedicated to the cause of shutting down comedy in Canada that I was giving up pussy. That's how dedicated I was to this. And they double-crossed me. So now I'm double-crossing them. But I'm still standing I'm standing strong. I'm standing loud. I'm standing proud. And saying that, you know, now that the comedy clubs are all, you know, CBC comedy's failing. You got fucking festivals failing. You got clubs that are just, you know, fucking, they're packed every weekend. And I'm trying my damnedest and I have to move on to the printing industry. So I will be infiltrating that next. Just so you know my game plan. Next is that. All the 4.9 million people that tune in and the 250,000 people right now that are watching this broadcast on YouTube live. I'm letting you guys know that. I'm such a nice guy. I don't know why they say those things. I do know why they say those things because I talk with them behind the scenes. I said, you know what would be a good one? You know what would be a good one? Is I'm going to post a couple out there memes. Huh? We all don't like memes. Write a little article about that there, hombre. We're heavy on the soundboard today. I'm having a good time. I'm having a laugh. I'm having a giggle. I'm enjoying myself today. Anyways, we're going to get back to Tim Hortons.
Come under fire for the company's reliance on temporary foreign workers for paying low wages and reducing opportunities in communities with high youth unemployment.
Oh, wow.
Tim Hortons turned down an interview with us, instead sending a statement reading, "There are over 100,000 hardworking Tim Hortons team members across the country who are members of our local communities, and they do not deserve to be exposed to such blatant racism.
Exactly.
We will be taking swift action to hold the people behind this accountable."
Good.
There's not much that can be done within a criminal matter.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Not much you can do with this on a criminal matter? What are we doing out here? These people should be executed by guillotine at the town square for our public viewing to instill fear into the other community members. To never think that you can go on the internet, download Photoshop, and change the logo of Tim Hortons to Sing Hortons, hiring all Timmigrants. You should have your neck in a noose and me pull the lever. Because I know, listen, if there's anybody that knows like how wrong this is, it ain't me.
Amount to a hate crime, but taking on
Disgusting, prejudicial kinds of ideas is through, the cleansing light of publicity.
Stephanie joins us now. Steph, the legal expert you spoke with is suggesting that the bar for what constitutes a hate crime may actually be too low.
Way too low. In fact, it's so low, I'm watching children step over it. The bar is so low, and that's why I'm trying to usher in that Online Harms Act, and we need to arrest anybody who ever tweeted anything remotely racist, remotely homophobic, remotely transphobic, ableist. The list goes on. Ageist. able-bodyism, fat phobic. I want to see heads roll in 2026, and that's why I'm advocating right here, right now, today, for the Canadian government to put in a goddamn law that we can chop some goddamn heads. Where's the guillotines? Where are they? Why can I not sharpen my axe and chop a goddamn head off of some son of a bitch that thinks it's funny to go and make himself a goofy little t-shirt? Why can't I do that? Isn't this ridiculous? This country's gone to shit. You know, we used to be proper. We used to execute people. Not anymore. Now what do we do? What do? We just do news articles. Why are we not live streaming executions? You know what I mean? Christ almighty. You go over to Syria, somebody fucking doesn't have their hair covered up. We can throw rocks at them. Over here, no, we can make a racist t-shirt. And all we do is just look at them and be like, shame, shame, shame. Let me get a bucket full of bricks and pelt this man to death. You know, you look at the Middle East sometimes and you just think to yourself, bring it on over. And that's why I advocate here today on this podcast about the mass immigration, because maybe we would be able to throw rocks at some of these fucking people. Especially somebody who makes a disgusting t-shirt like this. I have squeezed this bit for every last drop. And we still have 30 seconds to go with it, okay? We are squeezing every ounce we can possibly get out of 2 minutes and 51 seconds. I want you to know that. I am working up here right now. I am laying it all on the line for you on this podcast, and I don't think that you appreciate it enough. So hit the like and subscribe button.
Right, Tara, and he says that in the age of social...
For what constitutes a hate crime may actually be too low.
Right, Tara, and he says that in the age of social media that hateful and offensive thoughts can spread all too quickly.
Way
and that
too fast.
It extends to outside in real life.
Exactly.
Now, Doug King also adds that Canadians are getting very tired of racial comments, of racial slurs,
especially
of anti-Semitism, of hate crimes.
Yes.
That maybe eventually the Supreme Court of Canada is going to have a second look at its definition of a hate crime.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you.
Thank God. Thank God, Tara. Sarah. What did I was calling her? Shirley. And you know what? Even, what is this guy? Hey, gay. He comes out and he even puts it, you know, like this right here. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is troublesome. You know, you see this type of shit and you think to yourself, oh, why won't you? You're not going to get bigger for me? There we go. Fill up the screen, baby boy. Okay, Alberta Unchained comes out and posts the article. This is what they say. We want to take a moment to thank every single one of you who has supported Alberta Unchained from the very beginning. Your energy and passion has been incredible, and we couldn't be more grateful. Recently, one of our designs gained significant attention across news outlets, podcasts, and social media. While we stand by our mission to represent Alberta's voice and spirit, we've decided to remove the design from our platforms. This decision was made to protect the integrity of our brand and avoid any unnecessary legal complications moving forward. Alberta Unchained has never been about apparel. It's about a movement, a voice, and a community that refuses to be silent. This is not the end. It's only the beginning. We have bold new ideas coming, and we can't wait to share them with you. Thank you for standing with us. The movement continues. The Alberta Unchained team. To the swath of Indian men that watch this podcast, the many, many of them, of the H-1B visa holders and the quote-unquote immigrants, I stand with you. And I think we got to find this person, and we need to beat him to a pulp. To the point where it is it's that you'll be uncomfortable watching every strike against this individual, and it's not meant for the weak, but that's how we cleanse this society. And I couldn't agree more with Sarah, is that the Supreme Court of Canada needs to allow some vigilantism and let me and a posse of mine to go around with bricks and strike people with them that think any of that is funny. If you come to any of my shows, prepare yourself, because I will have a pail of rocks, and if you laugh at anything that I say, I am going to stone you to death. Keep that in mind, because I'm taking a stance with CTV. Okay? I'm taking a stance with CTV and saying that what that guy did by putting that logo on that T-shirt is absolutely disgusting. And you all need to give your head a shake when it comes to disgusting, grotesque, and dark T-shirts. All of you need to grow up. And that is why, you know what? And it saddens me, because we're looking at a failing media industry, like someone like this. Look at this. Chorus Entertainment in the past, let's look at the past 5 years. We have watched them since 2020 plummet into oblivion. A stock that was trading at close to $6 is now worth almost a tenth of a penny by the looks of it. And it is truly sad. It's truly sad to know that a lot of the geriatrics in this company, or in this country, are no longer going to be persuaded with propaganda. And they're going to have to rely on the internet. And you see what the internet is. It's a shit show. It's a shit show. They're getting duped by AI. They're getting duped on telephones by call centers. You can't let these people fucking be out there rogue. They need their access to daily programming, because without it, what are we really doing? What are we really doing? What is someone like Mark Carney going to do? You can't rely on a failing news corporation to carry you to a next election win. So now you gotta head to the internet, and you see what the internet is. We need to shut it down now. This is upsetting me. Let's move on to the next piece that we have lined up. Oh God, it's over. It's over. We're going to end the episode happily. Unfortunately, for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to have to talk about something that deeply disturbs me. And it's the fact that Sydney Sweeney is in the new American Eagle ad. And now I know many of you are like, ooh, big juicy tits. That's what some of you were thinking, big juicy knockers. But you want to know what I see? I see Nazi propaganda. That's what I see. Why are we putting hot white women on American Eagle ads and referring like, oh, my genes were passed down? Your genes were passed down to you? Are you making fun of poverty? That's racist. Because you know who's poor? If I was a super lib, I would say the super predators are poor, but I'm not. I'm a leftist. I'm a moderate leftist. So I would never say something like that. I would never, not on this podcast. No, not me. I would never say that poverty is amongst the super predators. Not me. I would just simply say that it's amongst, a certain demographic. I would vaguely talk about it and try and breadcrumb you to you thinking about what I'm saying without actually saying it out loud. So that way I get the pleasure of not feeling racist, but you also get the pleasure of not feeling racist as well. We're thinking the same. We're just not saying the words out loud. That's the joy of it, okay? And what I'm trying to say here with this ad, I think it's deeply disturbing. I think that we need to go back to when the world was fine, when we had fat trans people in Calvin Klein ads. We need to go back to that because this is way too controversial. What are we doing? What are you trying to do with this? You trying to bring hard-ons back? We need a meek, weak society where there's no boners. We do not need to see Sydney Sweeney's big juicy tits on the flat screen. I don't need to see them on my phone. I don't need to see them at all. I'm trying to enjoy my day instead of looking at these big voluptuous, juicy knockers that I just love to bury my face in and smother myself to death so I can die happily. I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. My life is miserable and I want to keep it that way. I don't need a shimmer of happiness by seeing these gigantic knockers that probably could feed a village. It would stop starvation in Africa with the amount of fucking grade A milk. I bet just like you could put that in. You don't even have to strain it and put it in your coffee. It probably tastes like French vanilla, just right off the tap. I don't need that. Okay, I'm miserable as it is. I don't need that. I don't need to be daydreaming, okay, about me standing there and having her on like one of those like coffee tables, you know, where there's holes cut through it and then the knockers can just hang there and I just suck on them like I'm a little baby cow, like a little baby calf, freshly born, just looking for a little bit of mama's milk so that way I can grow into a big, strong bowl. You know, I don't need that. I don't need that. Like I said, I am in the pits of misery and I would like to exist there. I would like to see advertising going back to when it was at its best. And that is with fat, obese, trans people showing off their surgery scars. Because that is when I thought to myself, that's when I needed a pair of Calvin Kleins because I emotionally fit better in that person's shoes. Because I too dream every day about putting a gun in my mouth and ending it all. I am 4 calls away from the federal government being like, you owe us money, to being like, you want to hear something cool, and blowing my brains out while on the phone with a tax agent and being like, are you proud of it? And my last breath, I hope that it just barely pierces. It's not like it's a slow, a painful death where I hesitate a little bit. I hesitate at the end before I squeeze the trigger and I kind of nick a part of the brain that keeps me alive for 30 seconds. And I get the pleasure of saying, are you happy with yourself? This is what you did. You killed a man today. And they're going to go, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't ask for pronouns. And then we both listen to the last gasp, the last breath of air, leave my lifeless body in my shit fucking household. And and because nobody wants to come over and visit, nobody wants to visit me anymore, I allow some fucking maggots just to eat me until I decompose in my own filth and waste in my lonely, lonely apartment. And that's how I feel everybody else should be feeling. You know, why are we gunning for happiness? And that's why when I think of these things, we're going to watch the advertisement here first so we understand what we're dealing with here, okay? We're going to watch this together because it's truly disturbing, okay? This is not what we need in the world.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring,
This is
often
gross.
determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney, Casper King.
Oh my God.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring.
Even has a belly button that I just, it's difficult to look at somebody else's belly button and envisioning you busting all over it. But instead, I got to look down to my, somewhat hairy belly button and cake it with my own baby batter. And I got to wipe it up or, I'm jizzing into my own boxers and fucking I'm doing self cleanup. I'm not busting on no stomachs. But I look at that belly button, I think like, oh my God, you know, and I don't need to be sitting here and looking at that belly button and thinking to myself, what a perfect little belly button. I'd love to just kiss it and give it a little smooch. I don't want that. I don't want that with my jeans advertising. I don't want that with my jeans advertisement, okay? I want to see a morbidly obese woman that I don't know whether or not is a woman until they like present their I want the virtue signaling back in advertising. Is that too much to ask for? I don't want to be watching television or come on my fucking Twitter feed and the first thing I see is a folded titty of Sydney Sweeney just perfectly fallen off to the side. It has just like the nicest, the recoil, as if she was to go jogging, she would knock herself out. I don't want that. It's disgusting. This is Nazi propaganda, and this is what they want you to do. They want you to be horny. They want you to think that blonde hair, blue eyes, big giant knockers. Juicy fucking knockers. Oh, God. Just the biggest tits you've ever seen in your life. And you're over here ravenous. You're just fucking looking around and be like, where can I get a pair of tits like that? And you don't need that in your life, okay? You don't need that in your life. You know what you need is to be looking at obese people with suicidal thoughts. That's what you need. That's what's the motivating thing in this world. Do you think like, do you wake up in the morning and think to yourself, if I go out there and make a bunch of money, I hit the lottery, I hit some sort of big investment, I invest in fucking YouTube back in the 90s, and then that's going to be what carries me, you know, to get these hot, big-titted women on a fucking boat into a body of water in bikinis and their asses hanging out? No, that's not what you need in this life, you dumb fucks. What you need is fucking disgusting mutants advertising clothing so every day you wake up, you can go to your minuscule, meaningless job and think to yourself as you're driving in 45 minutes of heavy traffic, bumper to bumper, being like, thank God there's not enough room that I can get to a speed where I can end my life by running my shit into a light standard. That's the dream. That's the dream. Every day this happens. You are one step closer to being happier. Are you with me still? Not this shit. Not this shit. It's disgusting. These people need to be executed. Similar to whoever was behind the advertising, the marketing strategy with this, you, my friend, have been put on the hit list. You better not come to Canada, or me and my friends are going to drag you out to town square and we're going to throw rocks at you until you're at least welted. I'm not saying death, but at least welted. Okay. Maybe like a few will hit you where it breaks a nose and it's deformed, and you have nasal problems for the rest of your life. That's what we're gunning for. Not death. We want you to suffer for the rest of your fucking life. That's what we need. Not this shit. Unbelievable. These people are sick. They are sick in the head. And that's why we're going to head on over and we're going to listen to some people with some goddamn sense in this world. For once. Jesus Christ. Let's listen to some people who are grounded. Some people who get it, okay? Some people who get it. Unlike you idiots that come to this show looking for what are you looking for around here, huh? Some sort of hope, some inspiration? Is that what you're looking for? Maybe last week. You could have got it last week, but my thoughts have changed since then, and I got to say, I feel much better about myself. I go into Cabela's every now and then and I say, you know what? Do you think this 12 gauge could fit up my ass? And I watch the attendant be like, why would you put it up your ass? And because I want to blow everything from the back out the front. I'm doing a little bit of reversal. I'm flipping the script on them. Something different. Something they can talk about at the fucking fire hall. Because I'm calling 911 right before I blow my fucking onion ring right out my goddamn mouth. And I'm going to point my lips to the ceiling too, so I know it's going through there. It'll be something you never see. The old reverse fountain. That's what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm going to call it. You're welcome. Don't take my idea. Let's listen to this safe and sound, probably grounded opinion of a woman who cut her own bangs and has probably tattoos that were done in a garage, you know, and these red cat eye glasses and a septum piercing and lip injections. You know, this is a human being that I think is secure with themselves. Anyway.
Jeans ad, so I went. You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda.
Exactly.
Wow. I thought it was gonna be like kind of bad. That's gonna be in history book.
I will be the friend that's too woke because those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird.
You know, thank you. Thank you for sitting down, but hey, I had to get one in. Thank you for sitting down, sitting in your room with the pride flag in the background and Pokemon and you know, being able to sit there, throw your headphones on and your Naruto shirt and everything, like just being a total anyway, a total fucking, what the fuck, characterization? What did you get what I'm saying. I'm fucking running out of steam here. I can't fucking hold this up for any longer. I'm going to snap, okay? But it's bravery like this that rivals those that went and fought on the front lines in the Afghanistan war. Truthfully. It's bravery like this to stand up, sit down, turn on your TikTok, open the app, and make commentary about one of the most grotesque ads I've ever fucking seen in my life. Okay? In my life. And the bravery, some of you will never understand. Yeah, sure, some guys went over and fought a war. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Do you know how much courage it takes to open your camera on the TikTok app and prior to that to watch some of the most disturbing advertising we've seen in the past decade to withstand that, and then to still have the courage to make commentary about it. You know, I've seen ISIS beheading videos. I've seen the videos of Ukrainian soldiers dropping drones on Russian soldiers who were unarmed. I've seen the bombings of Gaza. I've seen all of it. And I got to admit, there is nothing more disturbing than the American Eagle Sydney Sweeney ad. This is a dog whistle for racists to then come to the forefront and feel comfortable to be talking about big, juicy, natural, voluptuous, Caucasian cannons. And that is wrong. So I applaud these people coming forward and making the statement that they're doing. I do. Regardless.
Weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird. Would we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle is making fascist propaganda like this?
Nope, we're not.
Probably not.
Nope, thank you.
It's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes.
Whoa. Her good genes? Her perfect genes. Her perfect triple D, whatever they are, custom fitted bra jeans. We need to downplay it, okay? We need to downplay. I see what you did there. You tried to be level-headed with it, and I don't like that. We need to downplay it even further. Her perfect, voluptuous, triple D, probably Z, jiggly. I want to see him on a trampoline, braless, jumping rope, maybe in a bikini top, juicy couture calcium cannons. We need to be very, very careful on how we speak of this. And what she just did is making it seem acceptable. You know, you're humanizing her. And that is not what we're trying to do here.
Like, that is Nazi propaganda.
Exactly.
If you haven't fully comprehended how bad it is, I need you to open your fucking eyeballs and listen. This
Thank you.
is Nazi shit. Pure Nazi shit.
Exactly.
Saying that a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl has good genes is Nazi shit. Saying anybody has good genes is eugenics. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, Nazi shit. This pro-Americana bullshit talking about pure Americans having good genes. This is Nazi shit that people, especially Jews, have been warning about for a very long time.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. Genes is just a play on genes. Shut the fuck up. This is Nazi shit.
Sydney Sweeney's jeans ad is giving ethnic state propaganda. It is giving dystopian. It is giving 1940s Germany.
Who hired the ghost? Jesus Christ, did you sneeze into a bag of flour? What is going on? Now, we've been sitting here talking about genes. Who is your father? Casper? My dear God. The Wendy's girl looked like she's fucking boofing. She looked like a boof backfired on her. I apologize. That is way out of line. I apologize. Sorry. You had something very important to say and I cut you off and I'm being an asshole. Anyways, onward. We need to be educated.
And they could have had her said anything. She could have just said, I'm hot, drink my bathwater, here are my genes. But instead they had her say, genes are passed down from parents to children. I have good genes. My genes are blue. Why? Yeah, no, that was like the most thinly veiled propaganda I think that I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I hate it.
Thank you. You know what? Let's give a round of applause to these women that came out and did something so brave like this. So brave. Do you know how brave you have to be to come out and say those words, say those things? Like I said, it rivals the courage of any soldier who has fought in an active war. Any soldier who has went over to an active war zone is not as courageous as these women coming out and taking a stance over some advertising that we need to shut down immediately. And we applaud those women. And we're going to end the show on a positive note here because that was too much. And we need a palate cleanser, okay? We need a palate cleanser. And, you know, there's nothing I love more than love. If you've been listening to this show for quite some time, there is nothing I love more than love. And you know what? Love is in the air. Love is in the air. We all know what's coming. Are we going to see Justin Trudeau and astronaut Katy Perry in a relationship? You know, you have somebody whose personality is out of this world, so big and powerful, and a B-list actor, or even C-list, so good that he took his talents and taught the youth of Canada. You don't just give up on yourself. You instill what you've learned into the youth, and that's why we applaud a drama teacher like Justin Trudeau. You know, he is so out of this world, he needed to find a woman that's an astronaut. And that, to me, is beautiful. I love seeing love. What can I say? I know for many years now, a lot of people say, "Hack, you know, you're so negative, you're so grotesque with the words that you say." But there is nothing on this planet that I love more than love. And seeing two little lovebirds like this out having a lovely little dinner date, boy, oh boy, does it make me happy. Because, you know, with a personality so big it hits the stratosphere, you need somebody who has been to space and seen it to be able to bring him back down to earth and grab him and say, hey, baby boy, I know you're up in the clouds, but it's time to come home down to mama and get some sweet, sweet loving. And to that, we applaud that. We give it up. In studio audience, get on your feet. This is big stuff. Like, we're only covering the big news stories on this show, you know, and something like this, a little dinner date turned into a lifetime of happiness. You know, is that what we're looking at here? No one knows, and it is perfect. You know, public relations experts say even casual meetups between celebs and ex-prime minister enough to change bad press narratives. Huh? The rumor mill is on overdrive this week, was former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was spotted dining out with pop star Katy Perry in Montreal 2 nights before showing up at her concert there. Oh, isn't that just magnificent? You know, this is exactly what we need to see. This is going to boost the morale of the country because we wish nothing but the best for our fearless leader that led us into, you know, some of the toughest times of this and just was an advocate when we needed one the most. Just an advocate when we needed one the least, I should say. But TMZ photos and videos of Perry and Trudeau talking to each other on Monday night at a table for two at Le Violon, a fine dining establishment. It's good to know that he's eating well, you know. It's good to know you peasants out there lining up at your, you know, your local food banks, and you're over here complaining that you're $200 away from bankruptcy. Get your money up, okay? Get your money up. It's this fine dining establishment ran by celebrity chef Danny Smiles. Set off a swirl of speculation. See, you know what? I'm glad that he's eating good. You people don't deserve to eat good, not you. What have you done for the country? Have you done anything positive? Have you opened up your app and made a statement about the Sydney Sweeney app or ad? Have you done anything to further the morale of the country? Have you led us into a darkness that many of us are going to feel the effects for many years to come? Have you made decisions that will affect not only yourself, but those around you? Are you collecting a pension that is just astronomical, which makes sense why he would go after an astronaut? I don't write the jokes, I just read them around here. Perry, who recently split from actor Orlando Bloom, brought her Lifetime's concert tour to Montreal's Bell Centre Wednesday night, where Trudeau was again caught on camera appearing to have a good time as she performed hits like Dark Horse. Ooh la la, love is in the air. We want you to feel your love. And if you want to share some love, head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69. Support the show, support me, support this nonsense. We're going to keep punching out episodes. I'm getting caught up. All right, I had a little rest. I've been kicking my feet up. I've been enjoying myself. So what? But yeah, if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/dangercat69. Great way to support the show. If you want tickets to any upcoming shows that we mentioned before, dangercatshop.com. And if you want some disgusting merch, oh God, I feel grotesque even saying this. I feel disgusted with myself even bringing this up. But head on over to dangercatshop.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt today. The Taj Mahorton shirts are live, and they're wonderful. They're beautiful. Since Sing Hortons, we got to celebrate the greatest broomball player of our time, Taj Mahorton. Good night, everybody.